Here we have Rob the Nob. So let's look at his list. This is a list that I can actually very much relate to because I ran something similar. So we have to the last RTTR went to, and I had great success. Undefeated, third place. It was really nice. So I can relate. So we have Gaz, Mazrog, Naba Smash Ewapis Kill Choppa, War Boss, Follow Me Lads, and then a War Boss in Mega Armor with Super Cyborg Body. This is the different tech piece that I did not have. I did not have Flash Kits. I mean, I had Flash Kits in Captain Badrock. He had a War Boss in Mega Armor, Super Cyborg Body. I directly think that is a anti-power armor, anti-space marine kind of tech piece / durability piece. I really like to see that. So we have and then he also brought 2 units of boys on this list. Sorry, I want to bring that up too. And that's something that's kind of new, that people are bringing back more boys. We've seen this is the weekend of the boys. It's the ride of the boys, the green tide. Whoa! Because a bunch of boys are showing up on all the 3 lists we've showed today. And I think it's the OC. People kind of just understand that more bodies is kind of the way to go sometimes in playing the mission. We got 2 units of Gretchen, a 3-man unit, and a 2-man unit of Nobz. The 3-man unit most likely with the War Boss. 2-man unit is most likely with Gaz, because all you need is really those 2, because you're looking for the dev wounds during the walk. We have 1 unit of Nobz, a big, what I call a scalpel unit. Just they run in there, they can just dislodge any problem, powered armor, certain kind of vehicles that are T11 or below. Such a great unit also when you get Makari's lethal aura going off, because Unbridled Carnage is critical 5, so you get sustain 5+ and lethal 5+ with you're within Makari's range when Gaz is in your list. So all of a sudden a Nob unit is utterly destroying a Norn emissary, a bunch of different problematic units that people just won't see coming. Redemptor Dreadnoughts are getting torn down. It gets obnoxious. I love it. A War Boss and like 4 Nobz will destroy a Soul Grinder. It feels great. Then you have, if you're using a Bridal Carnage, then you have Storm Boys, 2 units of Storm Boys, a brick of Squighog Boys like I like to see. And then the one change here also that we're seeing, we brought back the Mech Guns. Let's go with the custom Mega Cannons. Do I love the custom Mega Cannons? No, I like them. I don't, they're good because you're going to pop armor, transport's a little bit easier. You're going to hurt some elite infantry easier. What I really think it is you're not only screening with them, you're drawing firepower sometimes away with them. And, Mech Guns are just that kind of unit that it just becomes funny that when the the enemy shoots at them, because you're like, all right. And then you have 3 trucks. 3 trucks is kind of the sweet spot for me. That's all you really need. 4 is sometimes the perfect spot. And I wanted to say that I'm not really certain that he brought this 3-man unit, Meganobz and War Boss in a truck. You might have just put that unit in deep strike. And strategic reserves and then rapid ingress. That's what I'm thinking. Because you're probably going to put the Nobz and then both of the boy unit into those 3 trucks. So that's where I think that would end up there. So that being said, what I think of Rob the Nob's list. Am I wrong? Let me know if you're out there, let me know. Let's go into his matchups. So we got Chaos Space Marines. We have Fabius Bile. I'm actually a huge fan of Fabius Bile. Just shouting out to myself. Just saying something about myself. Love the book. It's a really great book. And if you ever listen to it, he has like a 3-part series. But what he does in the game is he has a 5-up, feel no pain. He has access to the Dark Pack. He gives +1 strength and +1 toughness to units that he's to the character models in his unit. He does have a Surgeon Acolyte that allows you to make a damage characteristics of 0, and then it allows him to actually, his Chirurgeon ability allows him to get back up. He also has a flat damage 3 punch, with his rod that he beats you with. So it's kind of hilarious that he has that. So he's an odd tech piece, fun. I 3D printed my own, and I had my own Fabius Bile army after I read the books. Really, really fun. We have a Master of Execution with the Orbs of the Unlife, a Master of Possession, another Master of Possession, and then a Sorcerer and Terminator. So all this is kind of traditional besides the Sorcerer and Terminator armor. Bit new there. Cultist Mob, a Chaos Rhino, just 1. The unit of Chosen, everybody loves and knows Chosen, what they're for. Orks are one of those units that, hey, if you know Chosen are around, save those 2 CP to fight in death. Your Nobz will appreciate it. If the Chosen get up, and because let's say this Forge Fiend pops your truck, the Nobz are in the open, he charges you with the Chosen. That's where the 2 CP fight in death comes into play, because you're like, not for free, my boys. He has the North Crown. There's actually a tech piece that's most likely for shooting armies, because like a 4-up invuln, I believe. 1 unit of Obliterators, 2 units of Obliterators, that are in 2-man units. Possessed, another unit of Possessed, and then only 1 unit of Nurgling. So, it has some capability, but not exactly the most meta list. But great job by Rob pulling that off, because Space Marines are still good as a whole. Going into his second list, we have Tau. We have Commander Farsight, Commander in Cold Star Battlesuit, and a Dark Strider. I didn't notice this before. I didn't even know what that guy does. Actually, somebody in chat told me what he does. We have 1 Breacher Squad, 2 Breacher Squad. These guys are a bit surprising damage when you sometimes with their data sheet capabilities and their profiles. We have 2 Devilfish, very cheap, very nice transports. Broadside battle suit, crisis battle suit, another crisis battle suit, crew riders, pathfinders, stealth battle suits, and then 3 tetras. Okay, that's what I was looking for. I was like, these guys, hopefully these guys tetras. The one thing about Tau is that this orcs, like I said earlier, when unlike Astra Militum, right? Tau will break under the pressure of orcs turn 1, turn 2. As we dismantle them, we kill too many of their units as we close the distance on them. And we want to do that before the Teslas can really get their most utility by turn 3, because that's where the Tau's army rules go off, and you don't want them to really enjoy those rerolls from the Teslas. So orcs just rush them, get up on the table on them as quickly as possible. When you're going into Tau, they actually will break under your pressure. One of those armies that does. So really, it's just one of those things where you just put enough things on the table and enough of them as you pretty much overload them, and you don't get scared of, am I going to die going into this army? Are they going to dismantle me? So with Tau, it's just really just close the distance on them, start beating them up, start crumping them, start making them take losses, have board control, and try to win. And really, you'll most likely win the game like that. Because if you just stay back and try to be too cagey with them, they'll get to turn 3, and then they really do actually start picking you up too reliably. But Tau are one of our highest win rate armies, so it was sometimes it just the mission can make it harder. But all in all, great job, because you did put 85 points up into it. That's what you want to see when you're going into a faction like that. I'm going to crump you. I'm going to close. I'm going to put up a high score win onto you. So great job by then. But he also did have to go into Astra Militum. So this is actually the quite opposite. So Tau are one of our easier matchups. The hardest, one of our hardest matchups is actually Astra Militum, like we went over earlier. So let's look over this. He has 3 Death Corps Marshals, 1 Lord Solar Leontis, 3 orders, free redeploy, I think 3 units, and then free CP. Platoon Command Squad gives a bunch of different abilities that he gets to put in there, and then a regimental engineer for that vehicle support. He has 3 units of these Death Corps Krieg, right? So this is just, I'm gonna say right now, I'm really wondering what mission you played. So Rob, if you're out there and you see this, let me know. So he has 3 units of these bricks of Death Corps Krieg, 1 infantry, just straight infantry squad with a mortar, 2 Basilisk for that strength 10, I believe, damage 3, a Cyclone demolition vehicle. Look at this, guys. This is a very annoying outflank, come in from reserves kind of thing, where it just comes in off the side of the table and scores for you 25 points. 2 Lehman Rush demolishers, 1 Lehman Rush exterminator, and then a Rogel Dorn battle tank. So with the Rogel Dorn, in my opinion, don't kill it unless you're getting Gaz into it. Gaz is going to kill it on the wall, no problem. Other than that, you're not going to be able to do it with some of the other armies because they have great AP armor saves. That's where Gaz is a great utility, is that he's one of the few units that can actually crump great armor saves units. Also, I don't know if that happened, but Meganobz with the war boss can actually hurt with their dual chain fist, can actually hurt these tanks in other ways that other orc units just simply cannot. I mean, we know that like a Squig Hog Boy unit can just bounce because of the great armor saves you're getting, and in this case, he might actually be able to hurt with the twin kill saws, because they have the twin kill saws. They have strength 12. They get twin length -3. So you chip away at them, unlike other orc units, where sometimes if you're stuck in combat with those tanks because you finally close the distance and touch them, they might just tank the firepower from the tank for a little bit, like this autocannon one that wouldn't have great AP, and then slowly to whittle him away. So I'd really like to see how this game went off. This is one of the Orcs' hardest matchups. So great job. Shout out to Rob the Nob, because this was one of the most impressive wins from this matchup that I've seen. Now going into, again, another very hard matchup, the Ironthorn Black Templar Space Marine. One thing I'll just say, we can go over, he doesn't have the really fighty characters put in here. Interesting for him not to do that. He just has the 2 Tech Marines with their Adeptus on the Messiah and targeting Augur Array. A Crusader squad for 65 points. Very nice and cheap. We all know Black Templars, you're just getting a couple free melted guns on some of these. So let's see, we have a Ballistus Dreadnought, 2 Ballistus Dreadnoughts. I'm not a fan of these. Not that I'm, not that I'm a beaky, but I just think this is, you play these because you want to survive oncoming firepower with your gun platforms, but their offensive capability is just kind of underwhelming. Like, I don't even, whatever, dude. If it comes close to me, I'll kill it, but I'll just kill everything else first. Then we have Black Templars, Gladiator Lancers. So then you have Lancers on top of those Ballistas. So it's like, okay, dude, you're kind of doubling down on what they already do. You have the Reapers. So this is, annoying, I guess, for, these two. This 2 right here could definitely mess up your Nob unit if you let them be out in the open, if they disembark, because it's one of the few units that has enough firepower and the right profile for hurting them. Redemptive Dreadnoughts are a problem, but that's where having the Nobs with access to Makari's lethal during the wall is amazing, can actually destroy them. Gaz himself can possibly run up and destroy them. So great job by there. And he has 2. Then he has a Repulsor Executioner, and then only 1 Scout unit, and then 2 Assassins. I think this list could use more Scouts, more board board control and presence. It wants to put 4 of its already very low model count units in the backfield between the Lancers and the Dreadnoughts, and they don't have volume. So not the most meta list that I've seen, but still Ironstorm can always be difficult. You just have to be wherewithal as an Orc player to handle it. Even like this would be a very hard matchup, but Rob was definitely the Orc player to have the wherewithal, but you could see it was still a hard win for him because 66 points for someone who's already this good means that it was a challenging matchup. And then last matchup is Leagues of Voltan. So again, Rob wins one of our another very challenging matchups is League of Voltan. So this list it says all Terminators, and we'll see why, because he just went with 3 calls because he's going with Terminators. The Hearthguard Warriors, another Hearthguard Warrior, 1, 2, 3 Sagittars. These guys are annoying because they're T10 with 9 wounds, very annoying for transports. You're like, what the heck? They inverted that. They move up the field quickly. They have a good amount of firepower. So it's just Orcs would just hate that because popping those is a problem for us sometimes. We have the Einhir Hearthkin. We have, you see they have the grenade launchers, the pulse guns, the plasma guns. I said pulse. The plasma guns, and then the gauntlets. Another Hearthguard unit, but a smaller one. Another Hearthguard unit. Land Fortress, Pioneers. Just for the Pioneers, just every Leagues of Voltan person that wants to just put them on the side of the tables, come off the side of the tables. Put them on the side of the tables, come off the side of the tables. So as an Orc player, get up the sides of the tables very quickly, at least control where those guys are coming in, because these guys are creating all of the space for the Terminators to come down, at least a big brick of Terminators that aren't going on these Land Fortresses. But Gaz, I'm sure, and even the Nobz with that capability of being able to just go off, even if they're hurt, into these Hearthguard is a big problem. If the Hearthguard player, if the Leagues of Voltan player doesn't realize that you can fight in death, you can also kind of bait them into charging countercharge, because sometimes they will countercharge you as you're trying to get more board control with their slow Terminators. So that can be something you could take advantage of as an Orc player. They will challenge you also as an Orc player, putting a fortress in the middle of the table. That's where Gaz comes to play. Throwing grenades comes into play. But I really love that he was able to overcome Leagues of Voltan, because Leagues of Voltan is a challenging army as a whole. He's spamming one of their best data sheets by going with all of the Terminators. So great job by Rob the Nob. I really love to see what you did to go into that mission and just get more context into what that was, because Leagues of Voltan is definitely not an easy win for us. Yeah, it really came down to if he took enough board control to stop those guys from coming off the side and shooting where initiating the shooting and fighting where they wanted to. And I'd really love to see what the mission was, because I'm sure that had a big impact. As well, guys, one thing I want to mention too, just going forward for all of you kids, when we go over this and I tell you these factions are hard for you, or that they have these problems and you're going into them, don't think, man, the other guy knows that that's his best thing and he's going to try to line up this into me. He knows this. No, what you really got to think is, hey, this guy might not actually know how to allocate his resources. I'm going to try to bait him. I'm going to try to get him to shoot into Maz and not into the units I want him to shoot into. Stuff like that. So instead of thinking, oh, these are their weaknesses, I'm actually in danger now because these are my hardest matchups, don't think like that. Just know that this is a problem so that you can start preemptively putting stuff in the bank, like holding on to CP. That way I can fight in death if I get countercharged, stuff like that. But as a whole, when you learn these things, and I'm telling you these things, not to be scared of the matchup, is so you know what your weaknesses are and you can try to work around it and even bait the enemy into making the wrong choice. So great job to Rob the Nob. Whoa!